Welcome back to the fifth part, yeah, you heard it right, the fifth part of the Four Wheel Movie Club, where we'll be talking about Dark Skies, which is a 2013 American science fiction horror film, written and directed by Scott Stewart and produced by Jason Blum, starring Kerry Russell, Josh Hamilton, Dakota Goyo, and J.K. Simmons. Initial thoughts, we'll start with you, Caroline.
Horror movie! Woo! I really like this movie. I went to the theater to watch it, and I wasn't expecting a whole lot, but I liked it a lot. I know it has aliens. If you kind of go into the movie not really knowing what it's about, which was my case, at first I wasn't really sure if it was more like a supernatural kind of thing instead of just aliens or whatnot. It has like two really cute little boys in it. It also kind of has like a little coming of age story to it, which I found it was really refreshing. It's not all scary, disturbing stuff. And it plays with like childhood fears as well, and fears you might have when you're a parent and you're trying to make your family work. So I really like this movie.
Sam, what were your initial thoughts on Dark Skies?
I love alien movies, and this one, it has its issues, but this is one of my favorite alien movies. There are things that could have been better about it. I personally think the end kind of fell apart a little bit, but that seems to be a trend with horror movies, is like they tend to be really good up until the very end of it. But I was very impressed with it. I loved how they tried to change up just a little bit from the whole alien thing, where it wasn't like invasion kind of a thing. Like J.K. Simmons, awesome part in the movie, and he says like, oh well, hey, the invasion already happened, they're fucking here, so you're just gonna have to deal with this shit.
Yeah. So
it basically like, it's the you're fucked moment of the movie, is like, look, you're done. So I love that. I definitely recommend this movie to anybody who loves scary movies, horror movies, sci-fi movies, anything.
Chris, what were your initial thoughts on Dark Skies?
I thought it was kind of like, when I first saw the trailer, I remember thinking this is horror movie by the numbers, where you have to introduce like all the family and their quirks that have nothing to do with like the aliens, and their problems. And it just happens to be like this like struggling family with like another burden of like an alien problem. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Only because J.K. Simmons shows up and he's actually like the like expert in the field. So when he like describes like, oh, when they come for you, you'll know. Anyway, like, bye. That like, I was just like, all right, well, it's a full cast full of like, known people. I give it a shot. It's not my favorite horror like alien thing, because the aliens don't really show up. So it's just more like them being dicks with his family.
But don't you think that's a plus, though? Like, don't you think that sometimes when you see too much in horror movies, it kind of just loses its...
To me, it was like the Jaws effect. Like, when you finally see them and like... Yeah.
Right, but again, then at the end, they just kind of like... They just disappear. That part was just like, oh, the payoff. It's the payoff. I think that for me was the disappointing thing about it. Like, it's suspenseful. Yeah. It's very suspenseful.
And that's why I thought the end fell apart a little for me.
So that's for me, like, it's still, but I don't know, it still has to justify the whole movie. For me, like, I kind of don't like it so much. This isn't my favorite, like, alien, fuck around family movie.
So we talked a little bit about the casting. Kerry Russell plays Lacey Barrett. Josh Hamilton plays Daniel Barrett. Dakota Goya plays Jesse. Caden Rocket plays Sam. And then you guys said J.K. Simmons is Edwin Pollard, who's kind of the know-all that comes and just tells everything. What did you guys think on the casting itself? We'll start with you, Caroline.
I like it. I mean, I like the children a lot. I think that... sometimes, like, I love horror movies when they have kids, but sometimes they can be, like, a very decisive factor. If you don't have really good child actors, which, it's not uncommon, it kind of just, like, loses its thing, and I like it a lot. I like what they did. I like the kids they picked. The little boy just steals my heart every time I see the youngest one. I like the parents. Oh, man, like, the alien expert, to me, just, like, kills it. I like it. And I kind of like even more that they picked Kerry Russell to play the mom and not some like really really big. I mean, she's famous, but like not a super like major star. And she still plays a character that is very different from whatever the character that she played on like a TV show that was really popular. I forget the name.
Felicity.
Yeah, Felicity. So yeah, I like it. I don't think I have any like major complaints about casting.
Chris, what were your thoughts on the casting?
Once I saw Felicity was a house mom, I felt old. And then just to be like, oh, this is a, you know, this felt like you know, that the father and the mother characters actually do an equal part of like getting their lives shit on by aliens, and like they're trying to prevent the aliens from taking them. That was kind of nice because the trailer made it honestly seem like Carrie Russell was gonna like fight an alien or something.
Right.
She was like, I thought she was gonna be like the main star, but it's actually just it's the family, and it's a good balance. But like you said with kid actors, they're kind of an important part too. Where if they're not like acting appropriately, the movie kind of falls apart upon them because they're like not really into it, or it's like not believable when they're screaming and running and acting annoying.
Sam, what were your thoughts on the casting?
Well, actually, just bouncing off of what Chris said there about how the trailers kind of set up that she was gonna like fight an alien. I was actually really disappointed. There's a scene in the trailers that was not in this movie where you see her and like she looked scared. Like I think maybe she had a knife in her hand or like she was just like ready to like attack something. And then the camera kind of just turns a little bit and you see one of the aliens like 6 feet behind her. And that scene's not in the movie, and I wished it had been. As far as casting in the movie goes, I thought the weakest link was the youngest child, the one who played Sammy.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I'll just say, I'll repeat it just when it's time, but I'll just say it right now. My least favorite part is when he's in the park with his dad, and he's just staring, and he starts screaming. Like, for some reason, I thought that was so stupid, and it was unnecessary, and it was bad acting on kind of just everybody's part right there.
Aww. Poor little guy.
But my favorite casting, by far, J.K. Simmons. Because
Yes.
when you have an alien film, and you have an expert within that film, there's one of two ways you can go. The one way is the dude from Independence Day, where he's just like, this is fucking cool, isn't it? Like, there's this kind of alien, and this kind of alien, and this kind of alien. Or, you can have what J.K. Simmons was, and I loved this, because I rarely ever see this in film. He was just a defeated man. He's just a guy who had to deal with this. He learned to accept it, which is terrifying in and of itself to me. And, like, when he's like, yeah, man, like, dogs, like, they just lose their shit. So, like, I have a bunch of cats. They don't seem to care about them. So it's like he's rearranged his life and has just accepted that this is reality, not gonna get rid of it, and, hey, maybe I can give some advice to other people. And when he talks about how, like, the implant, and then they show with the dad what's been causing his infection, talking about how it, like, burrows in deeper when you try to cut it out, talking like, look, man, like, make it difficult for them. Because they're not going to want to fight you on this. So just give them hell, and they might move on if you're lucky. I thought it was a little weak, though, the M. Night Shyamalan plot twist. With like, oh my god, it wasn't the youngest, it was the first child! Ah. I thought that was a little stupid. But, yeah, that's just my thoughts on the casting.
Well, they are coming back for the young boy, though, right? Because isn't one of the things like they start drawing things, and I mean, we learn later on that the older boy used to do that, so now they're coming for him. But then maybe in the future they're gonna come back for the little boy.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me anyway, because like the whole point of like the movie is that they say like they come for the one they first came in contact with, but then they make it seem like it's been like 5 years maybe that they've been doing this. Because like the kids seem to be about 5 years apart, and I'm assuming the oldest was the youngest's age when this started. But like for some reason it's been 5 years and only now it kind of has started. And it's like the youngest boy shows all the signs. The mom sees the alien in Sammy's room. And he's talking about it. But then that's why I called it an M. Night Shyamalan plot twist. Because it didn't make any fucking sense. That they're like, oh wait, but the oldest boy did it when he was younger and that's why he got taken. It's like, well then, they're fucking aliens. Why don't they just take both kids?
Why are there rules?
Right.
That's why I was like, what? Like, this whole structure of like, oh no, they have a specific plot to dick around with them. And then at the end, it's like, no, we just want one. Like, thank you, and just leave.
Well, yeah, I did actually think that was a little funny, though. Because, like, I'm in a science field. I'm going into graduate school for science. So as a scientist, which is, they always say what aliens are. They're scientists in their own right. We're kind of dicks. Like, every scientist I know is a douche in some regard. And I gotta tell you, man, like, if I was an alien going to another planet and I'm gonna, like, experiment on people, I'd probably fuck around with them a little bit. Like, they were like, why did they ruin our fridge? Just because they could.
Right, yeah.
It's like, why did the alarm systems go off? They knew it would scare you. Like, I just thought that was funny. Like, it didn't take away from the movie for me personally. I just thought it was cool.
Some fun facts about the film. It was directed by Scott Stewart as well as the screenplay and produced by Jason Blum, Cooper Samuelson, Jeanette Brill, and the music was by Joseph Bishara. Cinematography was done by David Boyd, edited by Peter Vodas, and distributed by Dimension Films. The release date was February 22nd, 2013 in the United States with a runtime of 97 minutes. The budget was only $3.5 million and the box office was $26.4. All those fun facts put into perspective, everything we've talked about here in this film. Sam, we'll start with you. Final thoughts and high point, low point, and ranking 1 to 10.
My final thoughts on this movie are it's one of my favorite, not definitively, but it's one of my favorite movies that deal with the Greys. Like, I can't say favorite alien movie after thinking about it because I love Alien and Aliens so much and, like, Predator and, like, the more I thought about it, there are movies that deal with aliens that I love way more than this movie. But when it just comes to the Greys being like the big-headed, big black eye kind of aliens, this is definitely up there. There are creepy moments in this movie, one of which most people I talk to who've seen this movie didn't realize. When the oldest Jesse is riding his bike down that street at night, and he like feels like there's someone watching him and like the street lights start going out. If you watch in that scene, in the background when he stops riding his bike and he's looking around, you can see in the distance one of the aliens kind of moving down the sidewalk. It's really fucking creepy. Falls apart at the end, like I said. The whole reason why they take Jesse and not Sammy doesn't really make sense to me. And J.K. Simmons steals the show in one scene for me. So, high point has gotta be the J.K. Simmons moment. And just like all the creepy shit that happens with the family. Low point for me is when Sammy just screams. Like I get it. Like I know why they did it. I see what they were going for. And like, I don't know. Like I also thought it was a little dumb when the dad walked outside and when his wife goes out, like he's just like got his mouth gaping open and then just blood starts shooting out of his nose. I thought that was a little ridiculous. But this movie, out of 10, I'd give it a solid 7. Like, if 5 is like, yeah, I liked it, and then thinking like Office Space is something like an 8, this to me is definitely a 7. It's recommendable. I liked it, but I totally get why some people wouldn't like this movie.
Carolyn, what were your thoughts on high point, low point, final thoughts, and a ranking 1 to 10?
I enjoyed this movie a lot. It's actually one of the movies in my personal... I think it's like one of the few Alien movies that I own. I like the take in it. I like that it's around the family and not just like one individual. I appreciate the relationships they have. I like Ratface a lot in the movie. He's such a little douchebag.
I love when the dad starts beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, right? I love when he's like, oh, you kissed her? Oh, man, you go downtown? I do that with all my ladies. It's just so funny. Such a little douche. It's a really good movie, and I appreciate that I didn't see the alien, because to me, a lot of the movies, when I get to see the monster right away, I'm just kind of like, okay, great. So like all this work that my imagination was doing of what frightens me and how I perceive aliens to be or the monster to be, it was kind of a letdown, which is what I felt when, I watched Signs. Like, oh man, really? So I appreciate that. I don't dislike the ending. I get why Sam didn't like it. I kind of just like that it ended in like an open-ended kind of way. His boy is gone. Probably his family's never gonna see him again. But then now what? Is the little one's gonna be next, or are they gonna try to like somehow? Are they gonna give up on him? Like what's gonna happen next? So I liked it. I'm gonna give it a 8.5. And low points. Lots of birds die in it. Not real ones, but yeah. Lots of birdies die.
Side note, I think the reason why the family photos were taken is because they were touching themselves to the mother.
Or the dad, you don't know that.
There could have been some ladies there. I didn't see downstairs, I don't know.
Chris, what were your final thoughts, high point, low point, and ranking 1 to 10?
Okay, so my final thoughts is this is like this was a different kind of horror alien movie where the aliens take their sweet time coming out, but they love to mess with his family. High points for me was when like the birds start, like again, this is like not everyone agrees, but I like when the birds start smacking into the house, because like you can't explain that besides like, oh yeah, like radio waves, but still like what? Like no, this is a problem. But like everyone else ignores it, like nah, that just happens, like that's fine.
Yeah, and like different birds from different like I don't know, flocks fly in the same place. Like
it's not just like one type of bird broke this house. No, it's like all the birds in the community decided to flock here. And I don't quite understand how the aliens did it, but they're just like sound waves? Like like that just like, yeah, aliens have the power to mess with bird patterns. Woo! That was kind of cool. Because that's like different than most like horror movies, most alien movies. So I was like, that's cool. Worst part for me, I think Sam brought it up when the little kid's screaming. But it's funny because he's like playing soccer and then he just pees himself and screams. That's not an alien problem. That's a mental problem. Like that's like, oh, that kid needs counseling.
And that's why I'm saying, like, it made no sense that the oldest son was the one taken, because, like, the youngest was the one who was getting fucked up by it.
But I guess, like,
but then, like, we don't know if this happened, because remember when the mom says that he used to be really sick all the time? Maybe that's what she was referring to.
Did they forget this happened, too? Like, how do you forget this one happened like that? Like, it's...
Listen, if those aliens could make a bunch of birds fly into a house, I'm sure that they could do a lot with your memory.
Probably. Again, like it's just a lot of things they didn't explore, but they kept it this way. So it's like you gotta like this format. Like you know what I mean? Like you have to be a fan of it. I'm not obviously because I'm like complaining about it, but I appreciate the effort. I just was like, yeah, Dark Skies. It's another movie in the bin for me. I give it like a 5 out of 10. Like it could be better, but it wasn't, like it didn't hit absolute bottom for me where basically the alien comes out and like they're having a knife fight in the kitchen. So, that would have ruined it too.
It just reminds me of monkey knife fights from The Simpsons.
Hey, pretty no more.
Well, there you have it, folks. Dark Skies in the book, as well as another episode of the For Real Movie Club. Before we depart you on this episode, let's go around the table and see what everybody's got going on. Chris Cheng, we'll start with you. What is up?
Not much, man. Just promoting my convention. I have a video game convention coming up in New Jersey on September 19th. Be there.
There you go. Sam, what do you got going on?
Well, I'm enjoying this delicious chocolate ice cream cone. But you guys can
plain
catch
chocolate?
me. What?
Plain chocolate?
Yeah,
Does it
just
have
plain
stuff in it?
chocolate, soft serve ice cream.
Nice.
Ugh.
Oh, Tony.
So screw all of you. But
No, I'm saying it's nice. I am jealous.
you can catch me on more podcasts for Fanboys Anonymous, and you can any of you going to New York Comic Con, I will be there. So check us out.
Caroline, what do you got going on?
Well, just like Sen said, check out Fanboys Anonymous. finally coming back to my writing, which I'm really excited about. Check out my website, which is CZ as in zebra, O as in olive tree, F as in face, X as in X-ray, because Tony keeps calling me on it, .com. Tony keeps calling me on it. It's not part of the website. So it's ZOFX.com.
T as in...
Stop it! You're gonna start confusing me. I suck at spelling. Like, let me be. And check out my Instagram. I'm gonna be posting some really cool upcoming projects soon, hopefully by tomorrow, which is creepy_Caroline.
And lots of things about her dog.
Yeah, see my dog. She's really cute, so you guys can all see. And I have like videos of her humping her Agoras, which are really entertaining for me.
It's like dog porn.
Yeah, it's cute.
And how about the creature in the shadows? What do you got to plug?
Is that me?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm the creature that's not in the shadows anymore.
Oh, he's in the light.
It's a creature for sleeps.
Everybody already plugged fanboysanonymous.com. Obviously, go ahead and check out whatever else I end up posting. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode without me, because it's been a while. And, you know, I'm sure you're sick and tired of my voice. But if you're not sick and tired of my voice, then holy shit, you can listen to a whole lot of other podcasts, because I don't stop working. And if you are into just the Fanboys Anonymous cut side of things, then you can check out the review points and the group meetings that are going to be coming up. I don't know exactly when we're going to do the different stuff, but I know that our group meeting that's coming up is going to be about the TV season that's going to be happening for 2015-2016. And our next review point, maybe it'll be Man from U.N.C.L.E., maybe it'll be... I don't know, Spectre if it's a while from now. Whatever the case may be, though, that's always going to be on fanboysanonymous.com. And if you are onto the wrestling side of things, you can go to smarkoutmoment.com, check out the Smack Talk podcast, and everything else like that.
Well, there you have it, folks. For Real Movie Club in the books. Thank you, everybody who was on the panel tonight. Thank you, everybody who's listening out there in YouTube world. And remember, keep on watching movies. That was stupid, but keep watching.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. I'm too old for this shit.
Good day, sir!
You stay classy, San Diego.
Roads? Well, we're going, we don't need roads.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
I'm finished.
That'll do, Pete. That'll do.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Hey, everybody! We're all gonna get laid!
You're still here? It's over. Go home.